Amlen for the New York Times, and welcome back to Crosswords Live. We are back after weeks away, and it's good to see my solving partner, Sam. How you doing, Sam?
It's good. I'm almost unrecognizable. No ugly beard, no super long hair
No,
anymore.
you got a nice
Finally went out and
haircut.
got a haircut. So, yes,
Yep,
it's great to be back.
excellent. We have a debut today to celebrate. It's
Woo!
somebody's first New York Times crossword.
For Lindsey Hobbs.
Yes,
Welcome, Lindsey. I think this is one of Lindsey's first puzzles she submitted to us, too. I mean, just super, super
wow.
impressive effort. Crazy Thursday trick, too. I'm really
It
excited
is.
to get
It
to.
is. You know, I think one of the things, and I said this in wordplay, one of the things that uh, surprises beginners the most is how many different ways constructors can find to cram theme answers and place theme answers in a grid.
Exactly. This one actually was, I can dive into the constructing end later on. This
Sure.
is a particular feat of construction too. Must have been crazy hard to pull off and taken Lindsay plenty of iterations to get clean fill because that's what matters most at the end of the day, you know?
Absolutely.
Really, really cool puzzle.
She did an excellent job. The theme is terrific. It's very consistent. For the most part, the fill is very clean, and David Scott Pierce is here saying, "Hey, Grid Kid and Deb, how you doing, David?" And he even
Good to
gives
see
the
ya.
Vulcan salute there from the puzzle that we had the other day.
That
Was
was
it
yesterday's puzzle.
yesterday's puzzle? See, it's I do an
All
instant
a blur.
brain dump.
Exactly.
Um, what?
I said exactly.
Exactly.
Everything's a brain dump, everything's a blur.
Absolutely. Now, we talked about gimmies. There are quite a few fill in the blanks for today's puzzle, but you said, because you have a musical background, that you hopped in right at 1 o'clock, right
I
out of
did I did know one across. And it's what's cool about solving together is sometimes, you're just gonna have one person in your group that's like, oh, I know that one. But
yeah.
if you don't have that person, I mean, Deb, we should talk about how you sussed one across out because I think you had a good trick to this as well.
I will. First, I want to say hi to Valeria Silvestri. Hi, Valeria, and congratulations on your new mobile phone. Morris says he enjoyed today's theme.
Excellent.
Um, when I looked at that, a lot of I imagined, because I've been doing this for a while, so I have a few tricks. But when people get started doing crosswords, first of all, they should be starting on Mondays. God help you if you try starting on a Thursday.
Especially one like this.
Right. I think that there are a couple of things you might look at and say, how am I supposed to know that? Like the key for Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture. I'm not a musician. You are, so you were more familiar with it. But I will tell you how I knew 4/5 of the answer right off the bat.
How
Uh,
did you know 4/5 of the answer right off the bat?
I'm so glad you asked that. Um, you know, at any point, the key is going to be a letter, A, B,
Hmm.
C, D, E, F, G, but not H. And it's either going to be flat or sharp, major or minor. And in order
Exactly.
for it to be sharp or major or minor, it would have to be a 6-letter entry.
Exactly.
Have the letter and the five letters after that. We only have the 4 letters after that first letter, so right away we know it's got to be flat.
So this is like an alley-oop, Deb, because you've given me the flat part, and I'll go ahead and tell you that it's E flat. So it's an
Wow.
alley-oop. We're off to the races here. That
Yeah.
E might even be able to help us take a pretty good educated guess at
Ah,
one
yeah.
down, too. The English town known for its salt.
See, that's got to be Epsom salt.
That's
Epsom.
Epsom salt.
I didn't know that that was a an English town.
Well, now you do. So
I now I
again,
know
but you still were able to deduce this clue just from like, okay, known for its salt. I
because
think
this.
I might
Yeah,
know that,
yeah.
even if
I
you're
love
not sure.
Epsom salts.
Even if you thought Epsom was just the printer brand.
Yep,
Um,
and Bruce agrees with me. Kathy O is here. Kathy Odahan. She says 20 across is outliers for nerds, which
nice. Give me for
that was a
Kathy
wonderful
O.
book.
The 10,000 hour rule. That's an interesting
Yeah.
one, huh?
Yeah, he said that in order to become an expert at something or to feel like or be classified as an expert, you need to practice a particular skill for at least 10,000 hours. Now, I think I've been doing crossword puzzles for a long time, Sam, and so have you. Do you think we're experts yet?
I hate using that word because I feel like I'm always learning. But
Okay. But I think we
I don't
put in
do too
quite a
much
few
else.
thousand hours. We're
How
okay.
about I wanted to just go to this. Sometimes, you just know you're fill in the blanks. I
Yeah,
knew that this was Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway,
right. And
and there is
I
what
like
were you?
the salt clue at two down, right next to Epsom is fleur de sel.
Oh, interesting. Rather than the easier fleur de lis on like you might see on a
Right.
Monday or Tuesday, right?
Right.
Let's see what's next to it. Goes the distance.
Ah,
Yeah.
lasts.
Lasts. Now, why don't we check out 17 across? SES blank blank, and it just
Hmm.
has a dash, which
Uh-oh.
is that's a
I
non-starter. What do we do when we have dashes in clues like
I
that,
would
Deb?
be very alarmed if I saw that in my puzzle, Sam.
That's exactly the line of thinking that I'm looking for here. We should be very alarmed, steer clear of these dashes because
They're
we don't know what
clear.
the heck they mean.
You know what? I think we should put the puzzle away, back slowly away, and do something else. Is
I
that what is
would
that
do
your
that.
strategy?
That's normally what I would do. We just kind of have a stream we have to keep up with. I feel like our
Um,
solvers don't have that much time.
okay. Well, we
But
could just say thank you. Thanks for being here.
thank you, solvers, for bearing with
Well,
us.
I think you're right. I think we should hang in there. Persistence pays, right?
How about this one, Deb? 26 across. This we know
Okay.
this. Monday, Thursday,
Oh,
Saturday.
mea culpa, ma'am.
I use this one a lot.
Yeah.
um, let's jump back up here. I don't
Yeah.
know. Web-footed mammals.
Oh, that's got
Hmm.
to be platypuses. They're web-footed.
I mean, yes, that's like the only web-footed mammal I can think of, and that's certainly the only one that starts PLA. But we can't fit platypuses, platypi, whatever for that matter, in just two more squares
Well,
here. So
what if, and here's an idea, just go with me on this. What if you typed in PLATY and the pusses was hidden behind the black square?
I honestly, I guess
Could
that's
be.
we've done Thursday tricks like
You
that
know,
before.
you know what? Halloween is coming up. I'll bet it means black cat.
Oh,
Ooh.
oh, nice wordplay
See?
there. I like that a lot, Deb.
All
Even though
right.
it's
Well,
homophonic.
we've solved the puzzle. Thank you. We'll be back
Thanks for
next
coming
week.
out, everybody.
No, I'm
How
just
about
kidding, you guys. We have a long way to go.
we do, especially if we're moving at this rate.
Yes.
But maybe five down. You know what? That Y right there has just really helped me see typified.
Simplified. Very
Typified.
good for you.
All it takes is one letter sometimes, right? And
Yeah.
then, should we check four down? Did you know this, Deb?
I didn't, but I Googled it. And I know
I
a lot of people are going to say that's cheating, but it is not to me because you know what? I learned all about a wonderful book called Being Mortal by Atul Gawande.
Mhm. And that I agree. I think it's so. I mean, I say this practically every stream. I love learning new things in crosswords.
Yes,
There's a bit of feedback there. I don't know if that's me.
a little bit. I'm
Oh.
not sure who it is either. Marilyn Johnson is with us and she agrees on Atul.
Okay, excellent. Let's see. Atul is right. So then what is this?
Sesup.
Sesup. Wait, I'm just going to play around here. Let me mute myself. If you can't
Okay.
hear me anymore, I'm going to change that and you're just going to have to tell me that I'm muted. Is that any better?
Well, there's no more feedback.
Okay. Well, I just unmuted me, but I'm not really sure why that's happening. In
Okay.
any case,
Could be me.
this is why we're crossword people and not tech
That's
people,
right.
right?
Yeah.
I hope you solvers are struggling too much with our
Exactly.
feedback loop here.
David Scott Pierce says the plural is platy.
It's
Plati.
platy, covered in
Yeah.
plates.
I'm
But
feeling a little platy today.
what is SESUP?
Especially, maybe it's another word for dash.
It could be like dit da ses up.
Right.
It's a
Right.
bit of Morse code, right?
It probably is. So let's move on. Are there any other dashes in the puzzle?
There are. I'm so glad you asked. There's one right here.
Well,
There's
can we just go
one
back up to
here.
35 for a second?
What's that?
Can we go back up to 35 for a second? I believe it's 35 across.
35, 36 here?
Nope, above that.
Oh, 31. There we go. Big hopper.
No, that's not the one.
The 35's
um,
only down. That's why I said that.
yeah. Let's see. Oh, that one, 32 across.
Oh, let's do this.
My
Here we go.
favorite clue in the puzzle.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna
I
I'm gonna take credit for that one.
did
Oh,
you?
I
I think
did. This
it's
was me.
wonderful because people think of perks as little extras you get in your job or, things like that. And like as one of my perks, I get to come on here and solve the puzzle with you every week, Sam.
Oh
That's my perk.
shucks.
But in this case, because it's Thursday and because there's a question mark there at the end of the clue, we need to think of another type of perk, and that would be the kind that comes from coffee pots.
Oh, so it's coffee pots. Uh-huh. Was my clue, so I should have known that. But yes, coffee pots said a little on the stretchy side because I mean, well, perk is really a verb, but
David David Scott Pierce says, I wouldn't do the puzzle without the dictionary and Wikipedia. I'm glad we both feel that way, David. I think that, as long as you're learning, it's not cheating.
is your puzzle, you solve it however the heck you want to solve
There
that
you
day.
go.
So
Yeah. Bruce Giordano thinks 27 down is Enron.
noted example of corporate misconduct, indeed.
Yep.
Come on, Ken Lay.
It's almost a
Um,
verb at this point to Enron something.
are we gonna end on a sour note? Um, how about this? Stone with curved bands.
Oh, that's agate.
That is
I'm a
agate.
frustrated geologist, so
We are resident geologists of the crossworld.
I hope, yes, that's my one contribution is agate. Kathy Odahan says 44 across is ham.
Ingredient in a Cuban sandwich is ham. It's got to be it with just
Yum.
3 letters. Nice one.
Now I want one. Uh,
I could go for a Cuban sandwich right now, for real though. What is this? Letter-shaped part of a sink. Ooh, this was a toughie if I
that
recall.
was a toughie, and we had a couple of plumbers come on to wordplay and object to it, but it's a P trap, is the
Oh
answer.
wow. Are these the same plumbers that object to ball cock not being included in spelling bee?
Probably.
Um,
I would imagine they are.
well, still, I'm here for our resident plumbers in the cross world. We could use more of them.
Excuse me.
Lord knows Will Shorts is not one.
The Capote soubriquet,
Oh, let's go back
right
there.
next to it, is true for
Oh,
short
true.
women.
Oh, true. That's how I write true in a text message, to be honest.
Okay.
Truly.
TBA.
How about this piece of information? Blank blank tu blank.
Love this because it's notice that piece is singular. So what we're looking for is a singular piece of information, and datum is the singular for data. Data is actually plural.
I like that. I don't know how much I use the word datum in regular parlance because I feel like there's always so much data to work
Yeah.
with, but that's certainly one to keep in mind. Tuck away for the next puzzle. What'd you think of this clue, Deb?
Bouncers.
Bouncers equipment.
Okay. All right. I have a little bit of a pet peeve here. You
Oh
know
no.
what also fits there?
What's that?
You know what also fits there?
What also fits here?
Velvet rope.
Oh my gosh, did you try velvet
So
rope
I
first?
put in velvet rope. I
And you
did.
checked it
Because
with
I was
agate at
a
the
club
E?
kid in the 80s. What can I tell you? But I figured bouncers equipment would be a velvet rope because they are the ones who let you into clubs. In this case, the kind of bouncer we're talking about is somebody who's jumping on a trampoline.
Who doesn't have to be 21 years old. In fact, is
Mhm,
most likely under 21.
mhm.
Although I would love to jump on a trampoline right now, to be
Wouldn't you
honest.
love
So
that? I would love to have one in my house,
I would love that. Inside the house too,
Mhm.
especially. That makes it super, super zany. I love
Kathy,
this cluing angle.
I'm sorry. Oh,
What
well, Kathy O happens to be right there with you. She says it's
perfect.
Maori.
Excellent of the ceremonial
The
haka
haka
dance.
dance.
That's one of those where I think it's a really cool bit of information, a cool datum worth knowing. And yet, equally so, if you know the haka dance, you're gonna know this was your perfect way into Maori on a Thursday crossword. A lovely Thursday clue, in my opinion. This was not mine, so don't worry.
No, but I have to say, one of the really nice things I like about this is that there's something for everybody in the
Oh, it
crosswords. And
is.
my
It
way in may be different from your way in, may be
mhm.
different from our viewers' ways in, but there is always going to be a way into a puzzle. You just have to find it.
I'm sorry, could you just hold on for a second?
Sure.
Did you just?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just got that. Take 5,
I
pause
had to
for a
do
moment.
that. I'm not gonna
That
lie. I
is,
kind of had that one tucked away.
you know, if you're solving across the grid from left to right, that actually is a really good place to take a break.
Yeah, really. You're just
Pause
like
for
you've
a
made it
moment.
halfway through the puzzle. Let's take 5 and pause for a moment,
There
unless
you
we're
go.
speed solving.
That's a really nice piece of real estate there too. It's a nice long 15.
It is also on, a bit of constructing insider info. Like, it's really, really rare that you find a 15-letter answer in a grid that isn't actually part of the theme. Spoiler alert, I guess. This
Yeah,
has nothing to do with the theme. I don't know if this through solvers, but I
that's
find it super elegant myself.
well, see, I thought it would have been even more gorgeous if it did have something to do with the theme.
Hmm.
Um, it didn't, but you know what? The crunchiness of the phrase really made up for it for me.
I agree. That's sort of how I feel too.
Right.
How about this? Do any of our solvers know this is an interesting clue? Statue of
Ah,
blank, figure atop the US Capitol. You might be able to deduce it from the letters we have here.
mhm.
It's
I
not fried egg because that doesn't
know.
fit. It's not 5-day weekend. We'll come
Might
back to
it
that.
be the
There's
Statue of Freedom?
it is the Statue of Freedom. That is the one. Well done. Let's put that
There
M in
you go.
there.
Billy
Now,
Haas with
where
us.
to?
I'm sorry, Billy Haas with us, and he's looking at 39 across. He said he thought cartomancy was about making maps for the longest time doing the
Oh,
puzzle. And you know what, Billy? That is a perfectly reasonable conclusion to come to. It actually has more to do with the supernatural, and the answer here is the tarot.
it does though. I think cartomancy would be equally apt as a portmanteau word for a love of making maps. Like
Mhm.
it's your cartomance, right?
Yes,
You're so
especially if you have
passionate about this.
somebody to make the maps with, right?
Exactly, because why would you just make maps on your own? It's so much better with two, just like crosswords,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Exactly. Solving together, mapping together.
That's right. Kay Heldman is here and agrees with freedom. Valeria Silvestri agrees with tarot. Um, M later says do 31 down and it will help.
Oh, oh, interesting.
Hmm,
Dweller in a eucalyptus forest. I mean, eucalyptus just kind of opens the door
that's
right
gotta be,
there.
yeah, that's got, see, it's funny because pandas like eucalyptus, but I don't think they live in forests to speak of.
They
The
at
answer is
least
koala, though.
it is koala, and I was gonna say panda at the very least does not have an A for the third letter and L for the fourth letter. So that's how
Exactly.
we can rule that one out.
And we have, so we at, what was it, 35 across
Uh,
or 36
45
across?
right here.
No,
There's
35.
35's down, but there's 30,
36.
there's 29, 36. Oh, that's what dash. Ooh rah,
Hoorah.
ooh
That has
rah.
to do with the Marines, right?
Oh gosh. I was thinking this sounds like it could be the name of a Pokemon that just like, one of the very onomatopoeia ones. Like a
Mhm.
Pokemon called Ura that just says Ura.
Yeah,
You know?
we need to see more Pokemon in the crossword, Sam. You
I'm
need to
I'm
get
here
on that.
for it. I'm gonna have to get that past Mr. Shorts first.
Okay.
Abra should probably be the easiest one to drop
All
in there.
right. Samuel Smalley says, "Hi Deb, hi Sam. Didn't get the chance to solve this one this morning, so should be interesting." You have no idea, Sam. It's going to be very interesting.
It's an interesting one. We hope you'll stick around with us, or you'll go dash off to solve it now. Thanks for chiming in.
Yeah, he does say that 45 across is Senora, or the abbreviation for
Okay.
Senora, so that
That
helps.
helps. SRA. Thank goodness we already had misses there. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
probably would have needed another letter or two.
Now that's interesting because it gives us at 42 down a P and an S. What would that
Ooh. I mean, do you not know off the top of your head the time it takes light to travel 0.3 millimeters?
I think I do.
You
It's
do. Do tell.
a something second. P
it's
sec,
a it's
like
a
a P trap.
yeah, exactly. There's P traps and P secs. This
Yeah.
is a picosecond.
Ah, got it.
Um,
Thank you.
who knew 10 to the negative 12th sec? So I'm not even going to count the points and the
Wow.
zeros before the one. But yeah, that's a really, 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 really short amount of time. That took a whole
We're
bunch
going
of
to take a short
picoseconds for me
break
to
while
just hit.
Sam nerds out on physics.
I get too carried away. I do not
That's
endorse
okay.
this answer in crosswords, though. I'd rather just write it as
Excellent. That's
PS.
perfectly fine. Uh,
Farmland, if you will.
do we have anything? What about 30 across? That's one we've got 2/3 of.
Elf-like. Ooh, a bit of a vocab word here.
Yeah, this was Fay, Fay, which I think is different than the FEY.
Mm-hmm.
Fay.
I th- yeah, I think they're related. I think FEY is like impish or something. I could totally have that wrong. Otherwise, I know
Yeah,
FEY is Tina Fey. That's my
right.
choice of clue for FEY.
Absolutely. So 21 down, we've also got three quarters
Whoops,
of.
that's bad.
Oh, well,
We don't need to see my launch pad. Sorry,
that's
everybody.
right.
Um,
Language that gave us spunk and slogan. That's got to be
oh,
Erse
Erse or
from
Gaelic.
from the land of Erin.
So was the extra spunky border terrier? Does she have an Erse name because of her spunk?
Well, her name is Jade, the extremely spunky border terrier, but she's from the same general area. Border. She's a border terrier, and they are from the border between England and Scotland.
Okay, so
So
we'll count it.
Valerie Silvestri says 39 down is tornadoes.
This is my favorite clue in the puzzle, and again, this one is not my
Oh,
clue,
that was
so I'm
good.
not
Yeah.
self-patting.
Instead of world powers, WORLD, it's world as in WHILIRLED, world powers.
World
Yeah,
powers. Haha, you get it. Hilarity ensues. But actually, I think this one's pretty funny.
that's really
Um,
good.
so how about this? Again, another just interesting Thursday clue.
I had
Credit
to,
to young Faliano for this one.
oh my, I
Uh,
had to think this one, I had to sing the song in order to figure this one out because I completely, all I knew was that he wore a hat, but I couldn't, and then it went, hat made of, and I couldn't remember it. So I started singing.
he
Uh,
stuck a feather in his hat and he called it.
Macaroni.
That's the one, not macaroon.
Why he did that, we have no idea.
For the kids, for the fun
Did.
song, for the
But
earworm 20 years later for me.
we've got a couple of guesses here. Sam Smalley says 19 down is rum.
The Rum Rebellion, 1808
Uh,
uprising in New South Wales. That's a cool one to
you
learn
know
if you didn't
what?
know that.
I didn't notice that, but that's, that may be that may be partial theme material.
Oh,
I
interesting,
won't go
interesting.
into details, but it might be.
What
Uh,
is this? Speaking of which,
locale.
18 across,
Huh. Got
suggested
nothing
by
so
this
far.
puzzle's theme.
Yep. Valeria and Marilyn agree on macaroni. And
Excellent.
Scott Pierce says penny pasta.
That just doesn't fit. The next feather I stick in my hat, I will call it either penny or farfal.
There you go.
Um,
And Bruce Giordano skipped up to 9 down and says that's cat toys, which I think
oh,
is nice.
toys. I've got lots of cat toys lying around at my feet right now,
I'm
actually.
sure.
Um, let's see. What about we haven't even checked out this all these threes in the top right corner. We've got big Alaska export.
That's got to be oil because it's too small for salmon.
Exactly. Unless ahi fits, but that's not
Right.
an
Well, but
Alaska
no, that
export.
we only clue that as sushi, Sam.
Exactly. You're right. It's a
So
sushi tuna. Sorry. You think that's true about me? Sort of a weird clue, but you can
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
string together that it's
not sure.
am I,
Am I?
and then
That's
is
a
it
really
am I or
nice.
is it do I? I think it's
Uh,
am I.
I don't know, but the burlesque accessories are boas.
And then I mean SpongeBob. Here's more earworm that
Under the sea, man.
this one, unlike Yankee Doodle, I didn't have to dig up 20 years later. This one's just always been in the back of my head. I've decided, SpongeBob. That's
Exactly.
just a staple for
Who doesn't have that, that theme song pounding in the back of their
me.
head?
Exactly, wubbing in the
Well,
back of
well,
your head.
and we do have a lot more letters for 18 across though.
So what is this locale? Suggested by this puzzle's theme. A locale. That locale could mean any sort of whereabouts.
Nutrelia. It's the land where
Nutella.
they make Nutella.
Trulia.
Trulia.
Um, Let's see. Well, here I know this. Let's skip to the ones we know. I
Okay,
know my tubs of ice cream.
there you go. And what
Uh,
about 10 down?
Gossip. So is this a noun or is this a verb, Deb?
Hmm. Well, you know what? I would say that it's got to be, oh, gimlet garnish has to be lime.
Checking
I, look,
crossers. Figure that
I get
being
those ones
decent.
right away. Have you noticed that? Uh, so that's got to be blab.
It is blab. Ooh, check messages.
All right.
Um, blab is gossip. Okay, this I think has
Oh,
given us enough letters.
you know what? This must be a puzzle about Australia.
Australia. But why? Locale suggested by this puzzle's theme is Australia. Like we saw a koala, but
Yeah,
it doesn't help me understand sess up or oorah in the
maybe
slightest.
those
So
are, could that be Australian slang?
it could be. I honestly I'll wait for some of our
All
Australian
right, we'll
solvers to
figure it
chime
out.
in.
What about six across?
Catch or across,
Oh,
excuse me. A house may be built on it. Ooh, tricky bit of
that
wordplay
is
here.
tricky because you're thinking of the substrate that a house might be built on. Like it may be built on grass, it may be built on cement, it may be built on, a bog for all we know. Um, but it can also be built on spec. I don't know how many builders will do that these days, but
Welcome to the Thursday crossword where we'll really trick you with that, on
I know.
spec is the phrase we're looking for here, but it
And
certainly makes it sound like you're building a house on a particular platform, right?
exactly. And six down then has to be snare.
That has to be snare. To catch is to snare something.
And
Then
this tripped up a lot of people at eight down. The goose
oh,
egg has to be nada, but let's look at eight down. SIVIPs. Some people didn't know what that meant.
tough
Staten
clue.
Island VIPs, it could be anything. It happens to be Sports Illustrated VIPs. I like the use of initialisms
It
here.
looks so funny. Again, like that's a clue that it tripped people up. We didn't want this to be too hard, but even if
No,
somehow everybody knew this one, it's just a clue that looks so whimsical. It just makes you smile. It's like
exactly. And
SIVIPs. What the
if
heck?
people are wondering what EDS is, they're editors. And
Yes,
because the clue was truncated, the answer is truncated.
exactly, exactly. Good rule of thumb to follow when you're trying to get better at those Thursday crosswords. That's for sure.
Right. Now, Budobot says, "Cess up, mates," in my terrible Australian accent.
So it is slang.
Yes.
Excellent.
Now,
I'm just jumping
I'm going,
around. There's
I'm
do
going to
we
stop you here, Sam, and
okay.
I'm going to take you through a brief tour through my childhood.
Okay. I'm ready.
When I was 10 years old, my parents went on a trip to Australia without the kids.
Hmm.
We stayed home, and they brought me back as a souvenir a boomerang.
Oh.
When I saw what was going on in the puzzle, that's when I figured out that the answer had to be Australia because I associate Australia with boomerangs and not, in fact, the revealer that Lindsey Hobbs so kindly put down there for us at the bottom of the puzzle. So I got the puzzle, but I got it in kind of a kooky way.
So where did you actually break in? Was it in this reveal here, or were you noticing something up with those dashes? There's another
I'm
one here, by the way.
noticing something up with the dashes, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But first, let's see, where'd that go? M later says I didn't understand that one. Eight down. Sports Illustrated. Yes, that we probably rushed through that one.
Yeah.
Blue SIVIPs. SI stands, they took advantage, the clue takes advantage of the initialism. Sports Illustrated is sometimes abbreviated as SI, and
Hmm.
VIPs are very important people, which was lovely. That was such a great, as an editor, that was such a great compliment.
I was gonna say maybe we're just self-serving here.
I think so. SIV, listen, if we can't give a shout out to ourselves, who can? Um, SIVIPs are Sports Illustrated, very important people, and those would be the editors. So I hope that helps them later. Mustafa Atunel says, regards from Istanbul. Regards, Mustafa. Welcome to Crosswords Live.
Thanks
Uh,
for joining us. Excellent.
Yeah. David Scott Pierce says, my late mom's Georgetown, D.C. brick townhouse circa 1810 was apparently built on spec. Wow,
Okay.
very impressive.
Boom.
Now Valeria has the key to this puzzle, but we're not gonna tell people just yet, Valeria. We're gonna hold on to that a little bit longer. Um,
I think we
the
should try cracking into this corner. I mean, there's the Okay, what's the part of the Holy Trinity? There's the Father, the Son. It's got to be the Son, right?
I
And the
think
Holy
so, yeah. Unless it's
Um,
abbreviated. And we can confirm that because 32 down is probably a plural.
excellent. Okay, so that
Really?
certainly helps. And then we can, with this O here at the end, we can
Ah,
try and string this one together. If you have a loan from somebody,
you
you
owe to them.
you owe to them. Exactly.
Nice. Nicely done. How about 34 down?
Strand at the airport, maybe. Probably a verb phrase, right? So why would you be stranded at the airport?
Um, sorry. Why would I be stranded at the airport?
Because I missed my connector? That's the most likely reason for me,
Yeah,
at least.
yeah. I don't know.
You could be fogged in.
Oh, there you go.
So if you
What do
the
fog in?
weather is fog, the weather fogs you in at the airport. It strands you at the airport. Maybe that's why we
Mhm.
had the maybe there. You know, it's one way to think about it.
So we've got quite a bit of that western sector there. Let's look at some of the acrosses.
So here's I need to speak with you briefly.
A word.
Oh, I don't use the a word when
Uh,
I
no,
don't
we
call
don't.
someone that unless they're refusing to speak
They
with
would
me.
be seriously taken aback if you did.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't lead with that, but I would say, hey, a word. Could you come
Right.
here a sec? Huh,
Exactly. Marilyn and Billy agree on fog in.
okay.
And let's skip down to 40. 40
40, 40. Oh, 40 across. Hello.
right below that. Yeah.
Brand of
Random.
spread.
Oh, for sandwiches and toast. I don't know anything that short.
Nothing that's 4 letters at
Yeah.
least.
You know what? Let's do.
What
Let's
should
go
we do?
let's go to 29 across because that's a nice short one and we only need one letter.
The
Autobahn has.
Autobahn hazard.
Hmm.
So Autobahn, worth noting, I mean, Autobahn, that's German. So
Yes.
maybe that might be our indicator that the answer is not an English word, but
Oh,
a
okay.
German translation of it.
I am not I am not great with German, so I don't know.
But that's okay. Do you know your violinist, Zimbalist?
I do is Efrem, Ephraim Zimbalist,
So
who I
cool. We
think
just
he
worked
was the
together.
father of Ephraim Zimbalist Jr., who is an actor.
Okay. So then there's that's one that I would have needed some letters on, but I could have told you that it's ice in German as well. Ice, I guess that's how you say it,
Oh,
right?
got it.
So
Autobahn hazard is ice, like ICE.
yes.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay.
But
Nicole
that's
Xavier
tough
says,
though.
oh, I'm sorry. Nicole Xavier says, okay, who limited my commenting for 2 minutes? It wasn't us, Nicole. We would not do that to you. I'm not sure. It might be a restream.
Come on,
Glitch.
restream. We want
Yeah.
Nicole's comments.
Wow. But she does know 40 and 43 across.
Okay, well, what is this? I mean, what is
Well,
the?
let's put in the down there, 32 down.
Okay,
To capitulate is to cave to
okay.
somebody.
So what?
We've
Okay,
got
so
veg.
is that like Veg E? Is this some brand name? But what is Etim?
Maybe we read it across. Veg trampoline.
Oh, okay, and then Etim Ham,
Yeah.
Senora.
No, that doesn't work.
No, no, Veg Trampoline. That would be an interesting site.
I would
What
like.
would the vet? What would a veg like? What vegetable is most supple to make a trampoline out of?
You know what? That's a great question. I think you'd have to whirl it all up in the blender, add some gelatin or agar, and then make something there.
That seems. I'd love
Oh,
to give it like a purple hue, like an eggplant sort
oh,
of shade.
that
I
would
think
be
would be
so
super
cool.
interesting, right? Yeah.
Everybody's getting it, Sam. I think the Vegemite is out of the bag.
Oh wait, but why is
So
it? But why is it
Marilyn,
Vegemite, Deb?
Marilyn just had a big aha moment. I see the theme now. And she says it's round the bend. Now you're very close, Marilyn, very close.
So
The Vegemite reads from left to right and 40 across, and then you drop down and you read it going backwards at 43 across, which is why there's a thing there. This is
V.
why this
Oh
is
my
why
gosh.
this is why I thought the boomerang thing worked. And it turns out that I got there anyway, but I was on a totally different
Wait,
track.
wait, wait, Deb. So wait, so this is so let's go back to this one. Hold on. Big Hopper. We never looked at this.
Oh,
K-A-N-G-A-R-O-O. It's a kangaroo.
kangaroo. And look up at 14 across. It's got to be platypuses. That's where the
Oh,
PUSES is.
P-U-S-E-S. Nothing to do with
So
black cats.
so these things, which all happen to live primarily in Australia, and Marilyn is now is now seeing it.
So
Let's see.
let's jump here, Deb. I want to
Oh,
jump to 59 across while we're on
instrument
this train of
played
thought.
using circular breathing.
And there's a dash here.
Oh,
And we know these things have to do with Australia.
I think that instrument has to be a didgeridoo.
50,000 didgeridoos.
And how
Shout
do you
out to
type
those who
that
get that
backwards, man? You're a better man than I am. Um, Nicole Saber just says at 52 down, she's guessing that the answer could be opal, but
one.
wants
Opal
to
shows
know
up
if any
all the
married
time in
person could
crosswords.
correct could correct her. Well, O is probably the correct first letter.
It is
What is
because
the across? Oh, oh, I knew this.
that's oak.
Oak, right? And it's rich in tannins, and that's why a lot of wine is aged in oak barrels, because it adds tannins, which contributes to the mouthfeel and the balance and the complexity of the wine. I don't know where I just
I
pulled
was
that
gonna say I could use this knowledge from you. Let's have a
There you
wine
go.
tasting. That
We
would
need
be
to
fun.
get us some oak
Crosswords
barrel.
live wine tasting. I can see it right now.
Oh man, I'm there. You get me some wine and cheese. I am so there.
Excellent.
Okay, so yes, and David Scott Pierce is quoting the Men at Work song, "She Made Me a Vegemite Sandwich," which is terrific.
Nice work.
Samuel Smalley says that 52 down is actually onyx.
So yes, it is Onyx, but I don't want to snub Nicole for that great guess.
No,
Cromulent
it was
guess,
a
by the
great
way.
guess.
The reason why it's Onyx, I mean, well, simply because I guess we learned that Onyx is the traditional gemstone for a seventh wedding anniversary. That is factual. But we got to check our crossers here, right? And here, the Nashville music mecca informally has got to be the Opry, right?
Yeah,
So that's how you use your crossers to your advantage and make sure that it's Onyx and not Opal. But again, these guesses are how we get footholds in the puzzle to begin with. So great
absolutely.
guesses all around.
Now, Valeria Silvestri makes an interesting point. She says that Australia has opals mines. That's
That
they
would
mine
have
a lot
been
of opals. That could have, if they had done, they couldn't have made it opal just because the revealer crosses it, but
mhm.
it would have been a nice extra bit of theme material.
Would have been a nice extra bit of theme material.
Yep,
So one thing I just want to say, Deb, as we're starting to wrap up and figure
sure.
out what the heck's going on with this puzzle, this is something that I actually think you budding constructors out there would really appreciate the train of thought on. Is so we figured out that platypuses fold around, Vegemite folds
Yes,
around, kangaroo folds around, and didgeridoo folds around, and there's Australia in the puzzle. The
yes.
real question, though, think about this. Why? Why are they folding around? There is always, always, always going to be some sort of reason. The constructor didn't just say, I'm just going to fold Australia related things under
Right.
themselves and make a puzzle. There's always a clever reason as to why this is. So
And this
think
is a
about
good
that
one.
genesis here.
And believe it or not, it has nothing to do
It
with
has nothing to do with
boomerang.
boomerangs, which is crazy.
Now, Kathy O says, I was a smidge late joining. Are we this far in without cromulent bingo? And I said,
Oh,
no, you just missed one, Kathy. We did in fact do one.
fear
Uh,
not. There have been plenty of cromulent guesses, Kathy. I'll do it again just while you're
there you
here.
go. Okay, so the nickname for 18 across and a hint to how 4 answers in this puzzle are to be entered. So we need a nickname for Australia.
It's not boomerang.
No, it's not boomerang, and it has nothing to do with boomerangs. I don't know why
Shockingly.
my brain went there, but it did. It just goes to show you that puzzle solving is not always logical.
That's okay.
But the only nickname I know of for Australia, except for a place that I definitely want to visit one day, is Down Under, the land down under.
And that, solvers, is our intended aha moment. That is the why. That's, well, what is going on? Of course, it's because they're literally going down and underneath.
Exactly. So reading from left to right, Platy reads Platy, then goes down and under Platy for pusses. So it's a down under puzzle.
Then we've got Kangaroo going
Right?
down under. We've got Vegemite, Vegemite. I guess I'm kind of already recapping early. And then Didgeridoo, 50,000 didgeridoos. Didgeridoo,
Yeah.
going down under. Is that wild or what? I
I
mean,
love that. What a brilliant idea.
this is Lindsey's first puzzle. Lindsey,
That's
this is,
amazing.
if you're listening, this really, really, really was a crazy idea you shared with us. It's turned
Yeah.
out so well. Seems to be popular. We hope solvers' minds are blowing as ours did on the editorial side.
Yeah.
And let's
But we're
bring this
not
puzzle
done yet.
home. Not
We're
done
not
yet.
done yet, Sam. Let's see if we can get some of these shorter answers and wrap it up so our friends can go back to their lives for the
Yeah,
rest of the
exactly right.
afternoon. Old McDonald sound. That's got to be oink.
Oink is correct. How about
Um,
this? This looks weird.
huh,
But
would it take two to
two
tie?
to tie.
Oh, that's cute. That would be the knot.
That would be the knot. It takes
Tie
two
the
to.
knot.
It can take 2 to solve crossword puzzles. It
Yep.
takes 2 to have a cartomancy.
Right. And it can take 2 to tie the knot or more,
Yes.
depending on who you are and what you're into.
Yep.
Samuel Smalley says that 65 across is sty or styes. They can be treated with warm compresses. That would be styes.
Styes in the plural. Tough
Okay.
clue. My goodness. Wow. I did not know that.
Somebody, okay. The David Scott Pierce is asking about, I believe it's 51 down. Fishing
What do we
spots.
have here?
Right,
Fishing spots.
right. Piers, he says pier versus weir, both are fishy. I don't know what a weir is, David, but
Oh, WEIR is like a small dam.
oh
I
no,
only
no,
know that from crosswords.
WIER.
But that's okay. So, but Pierce is the one we're looking for in this puzzle in any case. Then right next to it, this is one of those. I love the clues later on where you're just like, oh, I can't believe I didn't see this. Or I didn't need 4 out of the 5 letters for this one.
NG.
I'm so glad you started singing, so I wouldn't hurt you.
That's like, my formative years right there. A perfectly cromulent answer.
Angie is my favorite Rolling Stones song.
Yep.
I'm sure that's not such a hot take.
Well, the hot alcoholic drink has to be a hot toddy.
The hot toddy. It is almost hot toddy season if it's not already, honestly.
Yeah.
I could go for one.
It's always hot toddy season.
This is true. Select is tap. So you tap something, you select it for, choosing this, we're choosing you. How about this?
Oh, one's coming for a ride.
I've never really heard this phrase, honestly, but that's okay. This is repo men.
Yeah, because I'd forgotten this one. Instead of people who are coming to ride in a car with you, these are men who are literally coming for your ride to repossess it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And that gives us a nice name to learn if you weren't familiar with it before, novelist
Santa
Santa
Rama
Rama Rao. Love
Rao.
learning new names like that in puzzles.
Wow.
Um,
Valerius is 58 down, is Deal.
oh, that's so fitting for Valeria to get that
It
one.
really
Thank you,
is.
Valeria.
That was yeah. Valeria was a ringer for that one.
Yeah, it's a gimme. And then we've got 3 letters left where Achilles took a
Oh,
dip. The question mark.
I knew that one. Before we fill it in, though, Billy Ha has a fun fact for us. He says toddy is a chocolate drink in Venezuela, and he learned in the U.S. what it is here.
Oh, no kidding. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look that up after this. New to me. Cool. Very very nice. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. And Nicole Zaver says, I didn't know toddy was a known thing all over. Yeah, hot toddies, at least I guess in the States, maybe in Europe, are rum-based drinks that are heated and spiced. Sometimes they have butter in them, which frankly, that's not my thing, but I'm sure other people like it.
You can't not. Butter only makes something better, though, Deb.
It really does. It really does. Where Achilles took a dip? Question mark. Love this clue. He took a dip. Well, he was dipped by his mother Thetis in the river Styx.
And that is puzzle.
Done.
It was easy enough.
Done, man.
We solved some crazy Thursday trickery.
Yeah, but that was great. You want to take us very briefly through the theme again?
I'll be quicker this time around. Yes.
Yeah.
Australia, down under. Lindsey Hobbs thought to herself, what if I were to take words related to Australia and literally make them fold down under in a puzzle grid to stymie you solvers and elicit quite the aha moment when you figure it out? Look, we've got platypuses are web-footed mammals. We've got kangaroo folds under here for the big hopper.
Folds down and under. Yeah.
Down and under. We've got Vegemite for your brand of spread for sandwiches and toast, and we've got your didgeridoo for your instrument played during using circular breathing. A bonus koala in the grid too, almost a bonus opal, but that's okay. Fun puzzle.
Oh,
hope you enjoyed it.
Before we go, Billy Haas asking how are galas dos or dues, and thank you. I'm so glad that you asked that. It's always good to ask questions if you're not sure of something. Sam, you want to take that?
Yeah, so galas are big to-dos, if you will. They are events, they're parties.
Right.
So a do here is just some sort of shindig, if that makes sense. It's just
a
tough Thursday clue. So
exactly. Sam Smalley says, thanks for the heads up a few weeks back about your Sunday, October 4th puzzle. Sam made sure to pick up a print New York Times for that one. Probably the best Sunday of the year for me.
Oh, cheers. That means a lot. Thank you so much, Sam. I appreciate that. I'm super glad you enjoyed it. It's why I do what I do. So thank you for that.
People are really enjoying it. And Kathy O is now knee-deep Googling chocolate toddy recipes. I may do that when we get off the air. Anyway, this was a wonderful debut by Lindsey Hobbs. I really am looking forward to seeing what she does in the future.
Same here. I know she's already been sending more our way, so you saw.
Awesome! That's great, awesome. Lindsey. If you're listening, thank you for today's puzzle. It was really terrific. It was a joy to solve. It really was. And so we're going to be back next week, right?
That's my plan. Unless there's something I'm missing.
Unless someone tells us different. And I just wanted to thank you all for joining us today. I hope it's a nice afternoon where you are. Go out and get some sun.
Yep.
I'm going to buckle down and try to file my deadline column. And I'm sure you have a lot to do, Sam.
I still got to edit some spelling bee. So we've pushed off a lot of stuff this week.
Oh, speaking of spelling bee, hopefully sometime tomorrow, please tune into Wordplay because we have a big feature article about the hit game Spelling Bee coming out with a very lovely picture of Sam involved.
But that's just, a little snippet of it. Some lovely writing by Deb, all on this fantastic game that we all love. So
yeah. 4,000 words, and I hope I got them all in the right order. Anyway, it was great having lunch with you all or dinner, wherever you are, Kathy Odahan. And I'm so glad that we're back, Nicole. Thank you. And I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. This is Deb Amlen and Sam Ezersky for the New York Times, wishing you a happy Thursday.
Have a good one, everybody.